Welcome to the Profit Answer Man, Richard Walsh. It's great to have you join us today.
Thanks, Rocky, man. Been excited to come on.
As am I. Can you share a little bit about yourself and your business?
Absolutely. Okay. Go back a little bit. Got out of the Marine Corps in 87. That's 87 with an 8. And started working. So I got to get a job, right? Got to make some money. I was swinging a pickaxe, digging trench down in Tucson, Arizona for a whopping $5 an hour. And it was hot. It was like 100 degrees, and I wasn't loving it. I didn't see a big future there. But the cool thing, Rocky, someone offered me a side gig, said, "Hey, man, can you help me? I've got, they spread granite down there, right? Like 3/4 inch granite. They don't do grass." I said, yeah, I'll do that. And they go, "Okay, well, I got 35 tons worth. It's got to go from the street to my backyard and spread it." I said, "I can do that." I said, so I bought a wheelbarrow and a shovel with like my last $85 and went and moved that granite in about 10 hours, sweating, putting it down. Came out, got done. And you know what that guy gave me? He gave me $1,000, Rocky. $1,000. And I'm looking at $1,000 in cash in my hand going, wait, I'm doing kind of the same thing yesterday for $50. But the day I went, I think I know my future. I am going to work for myself. This is my destiny. Okay. So, and that's how it all started. Of course, you're going to fumble and figure it out. But again, the landscaping, started doing custom water features. That became my niche. Accelerated to a national level. I was one of the best at doing it in the country. Started doing steel sculpture, became an internationally recognized steel sculptor. Right. I was boxing early too, became a champion boxer. So I did a lot of cool stuff. But as the business grew over about 20 years, I'm killing it. I'm award winning. I'm published. I'm doing all this great stuff. And it's amazing. Now I'm married and I have 6 small children, all under 4 years old. And then 0809 hits. Right. So specifically November 5th of 2008, my phone started ringing and I lost $500,000 in contracts that day. That was the beginning of the cliff as I fell off. Okay. And it continued through 09. So if you remember what that was like, if you were around then, which you probably were, it was tough. No one was spending money on luxury items. No one needed a water feature in their backyard. Okay. No one needed a sculpture. And they were right. I don't blame them because it was rough. But that was really hard. So I ended up collapsing. The business ended up collapsing, kind of collapsing on itself. And one caveat I always tell people, I don't blame 0809. I don't blame the financial crisis. I blame the things I didn't do in my business. Because, Rocky, the easiest thing to do in business is make money. I made $1,000 in 10 hours shoveling rock. Okay, so making money is a piece of cake. It's everything else that is the work. And when you keep pushing stuff to the left of the desk, saying you'll get to it, it's going to get ugly. Eventually, something's going to just cause that collapse. And that's what happened. So, again, it was my own doing. And I lost everything, my house, I lost the business, I had to get rid of everything. So it was a trying time. But I'm not big on losing. I get failure. That's a part of life and you learn from it and you move forward. So the big takeaway I had from all of that, like, yeah, you lose money. I lost all that stuff and everything else. But with those small kids, Rocky, my thing was like, I realized, I work early. I come home late. When I come home, my kids are still up, even though they're like 4 and 3. They run, they attack you, right? They just want to see you. They love to see you. In the morning, I tell people one of my sons was chasing my truck out the driveway, crying because I'm leaving. I'm looking in the rearview mirror like, man, what am I doing? These kids they don't care where we live. They don't care what I drive. They don't care what I do for business. They just want to like be around me. Right. And I didn't have that ability to do it because I'm working. I'm doing everything in the business. I'm trying to stay, I'm trying to grow and be number one. So the big epiphany, Rocky, was I woke up one morning and realizing they didn't want any of that. I go, if I continue on this path, this business is everything. It's first. It comes before faith, comes before family, comes before everything. I am going to destroy their future. They won't be able to have good relationships. They'll have failed marriages. Right? They'll never have balance in their life, right? So I'm setting them up for a complete failure because more is caught than taught when it comes to children raising, right? So that was the big thing to help me shut the doors completely. It was going that way anyways. So I shut that down and said, I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, we lost our house. We relocated, but I said, I'm going to do it again because I know I'm unemployable, right? I've been working for myself for 20 years. There's no way I'm going to go back to whatever. And that's what kind of started the big journey. I said, well, I'll start another business, but this time I'm going to be available. I'm not going to do everything. I'm going to figure out how to do it. And that's where it kind of, the whole thing started. That became successful. My first business started another in construction, doing that as well, roofing, siding, windows. And then people started asking me, well, how'd you do that? You like lost everything. You started over. And so I said, well, I just do this and this, and I did this. And oh, now I'm a mentor. And now I'm like, wait a minute. I'm also an entrepreneur, and mentorship is, that's free. Coaching, you get to charge. So I'm going to be a coach. So I started coaching people on businesses, and it grew into Sharpen the Spear coaching, right? So now I'm doing all that. I've been doing this for a long time, and it kind of brings us where we are today. Now my goal is to help 10,000 business owners create freedom, profit, and impact in their business. So they're not what I was at first 20 years. Let's compress time. Let's make this happen, and let's go.
It's funny because I think most business owners started their business to have freedom, to have impact, to have more time and more money. And yet, many of them don't seem to have the time and the money that they're supposed to. And along that lines, and I've heard that, and I never realized that until so much later. It's easy to make money. What's really, really hard and a totally different skill set is how to hold on to money and make it compound for you. And that is a rare skill set. It's one that I happen to have and I didn't even value because I had no idea. But it's a phenomenal thing to really be able to do.
Why weren't you in my life like 25, 30 years ago, Rocky?
This is where I struggle, right? Because people say this to me, and the people 20, 25 years ago, if I came to you, you'd be like, yeah, I'm good. Bye-bye.
I told
And
someone
I don't know how to get over that.
A guy told me that really simply. He just said this, a good friend of mine, very successful. He goes, I'm making money hand over fist. And I'm just buying equipment for cash, $50,000 for this machine and $40,000 on a website, shut it down 2 weeks later. Just a complete idiot, right? He goes, you should think about maybe getting a bean counter. That's what he goes like. And basically what he's saying is like, dude, you need someone to like give you direction with this money because you're not capitalizing what you have. And the great saying, if I only had what I lost, I'd be good.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well, you see that book, The Road Less Stupid. The first
Yeah.
part of The Road Less Stupid is if you could go back and reverse 3 business decisions, how much more money would you have today? And I know for me, the answer is 7 figures, like massive, millions,
yeah.
right?
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's
And here's where I kind of struggle with this. It's when I help people do that, how do you show them that you just saved them millions of dollars? Like, hey, I just saved you million. No, yeah, I did. I don't think you realize what just occurred in that simplicity of that conversation.
you know why, Rocky? And I think I know why. And I love that you said that because as entrepreneurs, okay, we're hard driving, we're laser focused, right? And that's part of the problem. But we're driving so hard, even if we're smart enough to hire someone like you, okay, and you actually do this stuff, we still can't see it because we're so lazy. We don't look strategically enough into the future. That's the issue. It's like, it's strategy, right? You understand do now, you understand short-term gain, especially when you're in the beginning of business. You have to make money. You have to work hard. There's no getting around that. But when do you stop repeating the first 2 years over and over and over again? So you get to year 10, all you did was repeat your first 2 years 5 times. But no one, someone like you comes in, or you start looking to this, or what I talk about is exit strategy. You actually put that in place in the beginning. This one, a guy like you, if they know to do exit strategy, Rocky, and you get you in there in the beginning, holy cow, you can make dreams come true. It's unbelievable.
It's funny because one of the things that we offer our clients, it's just a value add that we do, is if you'd like, we'll walk you through creating your life plan. Because where we start the life plan is with your exit strategy. And by exit strategy, what I mean is you are writing your eulogy. That's your exit. How are we going to get from where we are today to that exit so that that eulogy becomes your reality? Because when I know where I'm going, it is so easy to get there. Like, is this taking me forward or is it taking me backwards? Or is this a shiny object distracting me from where I choose to go? And the same thing for business. Like, hey, if I know where you want to exit this business, then we will build the business to exit. And here's the thing with building a business to exit: most business owners love it so much that they no longer want to exit because
Right.
it's fun. They have the freedom, the money, and the impact. And so they're like, hey, this is cool. Why am I exiting? You got to find something new before you go.
That's right. You can, and I tell them too. Okay, you want to get out in 10 years. You want to get this much money. Blah blah blah. But you get there like, man, I'm having a blast. I'm making a ton. Well, move the goalpost. You don't have to get out. I go, that's just, but you've built, like you say, you've built the business to run itself because no one wants to buy a business that doesn't operate, right? That is owner dependent. No one's going to give you any money for that, or they're going to give you very little. They don't want to come in and recreate a business. So my look is like, if we can build this, and there's multiple facets to this, but this here's in the nutshell the exchange you want, right? Someone's interested in buying your business. They come in, you get the price, you negotiate the price that you want. They hand you a check, you shake their hand, you're out the door, they're in. Nobody knows the business sold because the business is run so well. That's an attractive business because I don't want to come in, I don't want to buy your business, come fix everything. Okay, there's a place for that, but I can buy something for 20 cents on the dollar, and because I know how to systemize, I know how to turn it around, make it profitable. I get that. But I'm talking about if I'm just grabbing some market share and I want to walk in and have a new experience, that's what I'm looking to do. And there's so much more to exit strategies than that. We could probably talk for an hour just on that.
And I don't always like moving the goalposts. I like redefining the goalposts because moving
Def-
just becomes more and more. And at some point, you got to learn enough is enough. And now let's redefine what you want from life. And that's perfectly fine. But at some point, you got to just be okay with enough, and focus on other things. So,
yeah.
out of curiosity, how did you learn about Profit First and Pumpkin Plan?
So when was it? 2018, maybe? I'm thinking 2018. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's 2018. I read the book because I'm always reading, right? I'm always trying to get better and learn and stuff. And I see that. And how do you not go profit first, pay yourself first, and go, okay, this is probably good. I need to understand what's inside this cover, So great title, right? Great whole premise. I'm like, okay. Then I read it and I go, well, wow, it's the thing I loved about it the most, Rocky, with Profit First was the concepts. Okay, they describes are put into just the simplest analogy you could possibly. It's just you can grab it, you can grab onto it and run. Like you read some stuff that's so it's too complex, it's too high level, it's too. I'm this incredible business person, and let me make sure you don't understand me, so you think I'm more important, right? I want like with the envelopes. Okay, you got to put the like break this down like communication, right? What do they say is the best? At what level do you want to communicate the best? Fourth
Five
grade.
year old.
Fourth grade, right? Fourth grade level.
That's still a
And
little high, but sure.
well,
I mean, people struggle with to be
I
smarter
get
than a
it.
fifth grader. So,
I
you
get
know,
it. I get it. So fourth, right? I'm giving them an extra year.
no,
So
look, if your 5 year old can't understand your business, it's too damn complex.
and you know what? Let me give you an analogy I do with my kids when they were little, about that age, a little older. So they had earned like a couple bucks, right? Doing something around the house, whatever. So I give them a couple hours. And they're looking at it and they go, now I go, well, look, I want to teach you something. See these dollars? Every dollar is a worker. Okay. Now remember when dad had all those people working for him? They go, yeah, did pretty good, right? Yeah. Remember that? Okay. What happened when all my workers went away? Oh, we didn't have any money. Yeah, we didn't have any money, did we? So what should you be thinking about money? Get more workers. Keep more workers. Okay. Look, and my kids have grabbed a hold of that. My son now, who's 18, he's working. His goal is to be financially independent by 24. And he's doing it because he knows and he's been saving, and they all get it, right? But those simple concepts, which Profit First talks about in his book, it's just like you can grab and go, it's doable. Because the other stuff you just feel like you can't do it. It's too complex. This is like so basic and easy. And a lot of times we need to go back to those basics. Just like you said, redefining the goalposts. Exit strategy, you have to know how much is enough. You have to understand that, right? And the analogy I use for that, Rocky, is an apple tree. Okay. Now, do I want an 800-foot apple tree? An Amazon apple tree? Do I want that? Or do I want a nice 20-foot apple tree that produces the best fruit ever? And then go plant another apple tree and another apple. Pretty soon I have an orchard, right? Now we got leverage all these different things. So each apple tree is a business. So I can do that and look at it that way. And I can say how much is enough for each one. When am I done? What's this going to look like? I can scale them similarly, right? I can build them with systems and processes. And to me, the orchard is a better analogy than because to me, an 800-foot apple tree is growing continuously, right? Like forever. And what other thing grows continuously? Cancer, right? And what does it do? It kills its host, right? So you get it? Kind of where I'm
I
going?
get it. See, here's the thing. And I use the apple tree analogy slightly differently. When you start a business, right, it's real easy. Like the apple tree's right there. You just reach up and you can grab apples, right? It takes no effort. But the bigger you get, the higher you got to go in the apple tree. Then you need a ladder. Then you need a forklift or a pit because it gets harder and harder and the apples get tougher and tougher to get. Like I'm perfectly content sitting at the bottom and just waiting for apples to drop. I'm a bit lazy. I will admit it. Okay. I want to build a business where apples just kind of drop off and they fall in my hand and I enjoy them and I don't have to kill myself to do this. And I think too many business owners end up trying to build, if I've got an 800-foot apple tree, you know how hard it is to get to the top of that apple tree and grab that one apple? Yeah. Good luck if that's you, but that ain't me.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Beautiful. And that's setting your expectations, right?
Mhm.
Well, what a lot of entrepreneurs do when they start, Rocky, is they just go, and I call it ignorance on fire. And ignorance on fire is a good thing in the beginning because you got to just roll and go and make things happen and do all that kind of stuff. But if you don't have your expectations, the exit, where you're going to go, you don't have any type of map, that's when it goes left, right, sideways, upside down, and off the cliff.
And that is true. So you also wrote your own book, Escape the Owner Prison. What prompted you to write that and what is that all about?
So Escape the Owner Prison is the best subtitle. The contractor's new way to scale, regain control, and fast track growth while loving life. So it's all about, like, as a contractor, whether it's, your HVAC or you're a home builder or whatever, you're in a service business, things like that. Like what does that really entail? Because most of them are tied to the business. They're chained to the business. I was that way for almost 20 years. Right now, I had people, I had crews, I think like that, but really wasn't going to run without me. I'm the artist. I'm the man making things. I'm the one who closes the deals because I know my stuff so well. And I didn't think about duplicating and having someone else do this. So I wrote this book after my collapse in 0809. Coming back, I wrote this in 2019 and I wanted to give someone just a leg up. Like, read this, understand my story, and then how I fixed it, right? And what you need to do. And there's a lot of basics in there, just like when you talk about the envelopes and stuff and Profit First. There's a lot of basics in here like we don't think of. Sometimes we make things too complex for ourselves, right? We think it's supposed to be all this. It's like, well, listen, any complex system that exists was built by simple systems, by combining simple systems, right? So what I've done is, let's take a step back. Let's look at exactly what you're doing on the daily, how to make it the right thing to do, and then how to exit from that position to work on what I call your 5%. Your 5% is the 5% of things only you can do as an owner or founder, and the only thing you should do. And that's growth and vision, strategy, stuff like that, right? Everything else should be done by others, right? You should build systems, processes, lanes for them to work in and do that. And that's really what the book shows them, how to get out of that trap, how to regain their time and enjoy life.
When Michalowicz was on the podcast, we talked about that concept. I'm like, Mike, why don't people just do simple? Right. And he's like, people just seem to be looking for these complex solutions. When if you just do the basic simples, it works, it's easy, and yet we tend to overcomplicate ourselves. So how do we essentially unchain ourselves from the business?
So there's a process. Okay. There's always a process, right? And mine starts with what's called strategic vision, right? And it's really, really defining what your business is, how it operates, who's in it, how they function, how we get everyone driving in the same direction. And that's what I call a future cast. So it's actually not what you're doing today. It's what you're going to be doing in, say, 18 to 24 months. So that's what we're driving, right? That's what we're looking for. So we want to get everyone on the same page there. Now, once we do that, now we're building out job functions. We're deciding what people do so we can delegate properly, right? So you want to automate, delegate, and eliminate. There's three things you want to do. So automation, we understand that. You can do a lot of that these days, whether it's virtual systems, software systems, subscriptions, people doing all that kind of stuff. That's great. The delegate part is what's difficult. You don't just tell someone to do something. That's not delegating. Okay. Delegating is before you tell them to do something, you have the exact every job function. Here's what you do. Here's the what's of what you do. You have 7 things in your job function, in your job position that you do. Here's how you do them. And then the third column is here's the training to teach you how to do them. But until then, you can't drop someone in there because every day is a mystery to them. And no one wants to work that way. But if you enable them to go, here's the things you do, here's how you do them. Now go, because you're usually hiring someone with some level of competency, which you can also increase, right? But now they can thrive in that position. They're not knocking on your door asking what to do next, right? So once they can do that, that's how you begin to free yourself. Okay, that's a huge part of it, systemizing your business. Then the elimination part, like on the surface, sounds okay. Well, redundancies, inefficiencies, eliminate over costs on materials and resources, things like that. Great, but you're leaving out one big thing. You need to eliminate you. Okay. You need to keep taking you out of this process to get to that 5% that you can focus on. Right. And that's regaining your time. And that's how you truly escape the owner prison. Those kind of 3 things. That's what really puts it together.
And that's a big part of it. And I say this all the time, right? The biggest roadblock in business is the owner, right? You got to get yourself out of the picture and learn to do this. And one of the things in our profit blueprint courses is the loves and drains. Like, what do you love doing in your business? What are the parts you want to do? And then what are the parts that drain you? And let's start eliminating those. And you are right. Because I went through that with my email. My first thought was, I hate this email. I'm going to hire a VA. And I said, okay, before I hire a VA, I need to look at my email and decide how I'm going to tell them what to do. And I looked at my email and went, why the hell am I paying somebody to look at this junk? Like, that just seems absurd to me. And so what I ended up doing was creating I bought a software product that literally eliminates 95% of my emails. And it puts it in boxes based on rules. It took a few minutes to learn them, and you can tweak it within seconds. And now, like in the beginning, it was weird because I kept having email withdrawal. But
Right.
now it's like, yeah, I only get the handful of emails I want every day. And if I don't like the ones that are coming, I move it. And if I realize, oh, I should be paying more attention to this one, I move it. And then it learns that rule and it does it. So I didn't have to spend all this money even. I just needed to take a little bit of time and think about it, create an automation and do that. And a lot of the systems and the tools we use for delivery are all automated. So, it takes a long time to build the automation, but then once you do, everything goes smoothly. And I find a lot of business owners struggle with finding the time and making the commitment to build their automations. They're like, I'll do that tomorrow. And they keep saying, I'll do that tomorrow. And tomorrow never seems to come.
It's the 10 years repeating the first 2 years 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. And you're right. When I talk about systemization, like you can say, oh, systemize your business. No owner they want their business systemized. They don't want to do it. They don't have the bandwidth.
No, but there's more than what I've really come to realize. Most business owners are visionaries. They
right.
see opportunity. They are not what I call process building people.
Right.
Some people are very good. There's a lot of people who are really good at running a process. So think of McDonald's.
Mhm.
Everybody who works at McDonald's runs a process. But if you ask them to build that process, they can't do it. That is a special and rare skill.
Exactly.
And sometimes you need to bring in outside help to take what's in your head and get it down into processes that anyone can follow.
Yeah.
And then you make it a self-sustaining system. And Mike talks about that in Clockwork. I mean, that's the whole concept behind
Mhm.
Clockwork. It's the same thing as E-Myth. It's
Mhm.
similar to Traction's not really that in depth, but yeah, there's so many systems out there to do that. You just got to get help and
Exactly.
let go. And I think
Exactly.
that's the key to it. Find the people who know how to build systems, processes, and then you can make them repeatable. And I I know how to do that, but I would not enjoy going in and helping somebody do that. And so that's why I don't do that. But I know enough about it to look at the business owner and go, oh, here's your problem. Here's the thing that you need to work on. I'll overlook it. In other words, I'll see the big picture, but you got to go find somebody to build it. That
Right.
ain't me.
Very true, and that's my point. The owner's not going to have that ability or bandwidth to do it, but it is outsourcing, right? So get the person who can come in and do this, because that's where the freedom comes from. Is having that stuff run, because you can't grow either, because you're managing all this stuff that's in your head. You're trying to get people to get in your head and do what you do, but they can't. So it's just this horrible little game we play with ourselves, right? And we keep trying to drive through the next wall, and it should be effortless, but we're running into too many studs. You know what I mean? We can't break through. So, to your point, it's what drains you. Like, that's a great point. Like, if you do something that zaps your energy, like, I can talk about business and coaching this all day, every day. Like, no matter what, I can talk about it. Okay. But there's
Mhm.
other stuff, I like accounting. Okay. I'm sleeping in like 37 seconds. Okay. I'm glazed over and I'm like, I got to leave. Okay. I'm in the wrong room. Okay. Cause it will suck the life out of me. All right. So I don't do it. I get someone else to do that. Right. So I can, I've learned that over time. Like, that was the thing. And another great point you made, Rocky, was get the help to do it. My first 20 years, I was not big on help. I refused help. I'm a Marine. I'm going to drive through. I'm going to do it myself. Yeah, it took twice as long. It was twice as hard, but I did it. But did I? So I want to encourage anyone who's listening to this, like, and today of any time in history, I've been in business for 35 years. The ability to get help, quality help, is like really literally at your fingertips. But you can do that because it'll compress 10 years of just misery and bad decisions and costly mistakes. And it'll be the best money you ever spent, whatever it costs. It's going to be phenomenal for you. So get that help, get your business running at a faster pace.
And you have to find the right person. There's a lot of people who
Mm-hmm.
are very good at marketing and very bad at delivery. So make sure that the person you're going with actually knows how to deliver. And the one word of caution I'll give you on that is, if you're not talking to the delivery person during the sales process, that's a red flag. Because if they've got a great sales process and they throw any delivery person in, you might get a good one, you might get a bad one. So make sure your delivery person is really good at what they're going to deliver for you. As for me, I know you don't like accounting. You show me a spreadsheet and a tax return, and I can see a story. I can see, like, I can just look at, oh, there's an anomaly. That, you know what? The gross margin's not right. There's a problem with gross margin. Oh, there's a problem there. Hey, wait, why is that jumping all over? It's funny because I had this we did a discovery for one of these for a potential client, and I'm going through their stuff, and I'm talking through them, and I'm like, these three line items on your P&L, there's something weird in here. This is not normal. And they said to me, oh, yeah, that's where we hide our yeah. Yeah, that's a business expense. And I've got 50 line items, and I pointed out the 3 where the yeah was hiding. I'm like, yeah, I can see that. And they were like, wow.
Yeah.
She's like, I
And
haven't given myself a raise in years, but that's because it's all in the yeah.
yeah. Yeah, you know what? And I love people like you, Rocky. The world needs more people like you. And business owners need to find people like you. Okay, because this is it I'm not here just blowing smoke. I truly
Yeah.
mean this. Okay, that like if you can if what you're able to do for companies, like they don't understand. We're talking about this, I think, before we got on, was I made so much money and just didn't know what to do with it.
Mhm.
I was like Mike Tyson. I got $100 million, for working for 3 minutes, right, knocking someone out, and then poof, it's gone.
Do you know how we have success? Our client will invariably ask this one question. It's usually about 18 months, or it takes a while, right? They'll be like, um, I've never had so much cash in the business. What am I supposed to do with it? And our answer invariably is we need to remove it from the business because apple trees die,
That's
right?
right.
For a variety of different reasons. So we're going to go plant an orchard, and maybe it's real estate, maybe it's another business, maybe it's a stock market. Like, I don't care what it is. We're going to go plant multiple streams of income. Maybe you're loaning to other business owners. Like, there's a million things we can do, but we're going to get it out of this apple tree because disease happens to apple trees and things go wrong, and we're going to make sure that no matter what happens, you, your kids, your family, you're guaranteed a successful exit, even if the business goes bankrupt.
And this is exactly what we talk. Another component to exit strategy, right? What to do with that active business income? Okay, you're making 7 figures a year. Okay, like personally, like what are you doing with that? You probably don't need to live on that. I hope. Okay, but boy, can you create some assets? Can you start getting those multiple streams of income? Can you get that passive? Because when you leave, say you sell the business for whatever the number is, well, now you don't have 7 figures a year coming in. But what if you could replace that with your passive, these other income streams, and that's all yours? And you don't work, you get that. So that's part of the exit strategy. You
Mhm.
start that early, right? A guy like you comes in, you make that happen even faster, right? Because it's very, very intentional. It's that Parkinson's law, right? You have
Mhm.
to have a place for money to go. If you do not have it, and I'm a living testament, it will just evaporate.
Oh, it
You'll
will
make
evaporate.
it. It'll be gone, and you won't know where it went.
Yeah, and honestly, this business isn't driving my personal spending cash flow. This business is because I love doing it, and it builds its cash, and then we take it and we go do something else with it. Um, because I built all those other things ahead of time, so that
Right?
you know the business is for me to have a lot of fun and to help other people have that ability to do it. Because I always feel bad. I'm like, you know how to drive revenue. Let's keep some of it. Let's make you wealthy. There's absolutely no reason we can't do that. And I love just making that happen. And unfortunately, there's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of fake glamour. And, when I look at the books of hundreds of companies, I can see what's real, what's not, and where those leaks are. If people would like to learn more about you, how you help, the books, where do they go to find all of this?
Sharpenthespearcoaching.com. One stop shop.
One stop shop. And I will put that in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It was awesome, Rocky. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to this unedited video of the Profit Answer Man podcast. If you'd like to catch the full episode and learn more about what we do, check us out at profitcomesfirst.com. We also go through the Profit First book in each and every chapter in the beginning episodes of the podcast, so check those out as well. Thanks for listening, and here's to you having a more profitable and growing business.